Into around the sports world playoff recap. What a weekend. What a weekend. The Lions collapsed to the 49ers. The Chiefs were a little bit too much for the Baltimore Ravens. But we'll start with the Lions. Shout out to the Motor City Dan Campbells, the Detroit Lions. You guys have something to be proud of. You do. You haven't had this much success in over 30 years. And while it did not end the way that you all had hoped, you've accomplished something. You've actually made your football team relevant again. Shout out to everyone that was involved. Detroit, you earned some respect this year. I got nothing like bad to say about you, right? Like I believe, Jesse Holley believes that there are steps to this thing. Like you just don't go from the land of obscurity and to being the football laughing stock of the nation for most of 30 years and then shoot right to the top without taking some steps. And I know that the ultimate goal was at the end of the year to host the Lombardi Trophy. And you were close. You got to the conference championship game. But there's lessons in the failure. And we'll talk more a little bit about Dan Campbell and his decision making. But there's nothing to be ashamed about, Detroit. Michigan, Lions fans. I know Eminem. What does Eminem? What did Eminem say? He said palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. His vomit on the sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface he looked calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud. He's choking. Wow. Everybody's joking now. It's over now. Time's up. It's over. Blah. You just came to a point in time where you got the moment was a little bit, and you came out white hot. Moment got a little bit too big. Moment got big. And I remember we were texting Tay, right? We were texting back and forth. Tay picked the Lions. I picked the Niners. In the first half, his text looked a little bit different than they did in the second half. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Two-way street.
That's all I'm going to say. But yes, in the second half, my text looked a lot different than they did in the first half. Moment was a little bit too big. And that's not a knock. It's not a knock. There are steps to the throne of greatness that you must take. And while Detroit, you did some wonderful things. You just came to a place where things got a little bit heavy. You look calm on the surface, but boy, was mom's spaghetti all over your sweater. Drop passes, fumbles. And I know a lot of you are going to kill Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn. Some of you want to kill Dan Quinn. Dan Campbell. Because you're saying to yourself, why are you going for it on fourth down? Kick the field goal. Why are you running it here? Da, 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 da. And my thing to that, there's two things that I have to say to that. One, gotta blame Aaron Glenn. Glenn. He gave up a whole lot of points in that second half. Whole lot of points. When you give your defense a 27-7 halftime lead, shouldn't falter. Was it 27-24?
24-7.
24-7. Doesn't matter. It's almost a 20-point lead. 2-score, 3-score lead. When you give your defense that level of a lead, they should be able to come up and make enough plays. They should be able to come up and say, all right, guys, we gave up one touchdown. But you gave us more than enough lead to do what we had to do, to be able to withstand any barrage that the opposing team was going to give you. We got to talk more about that as a whole. I know it's easy to say Dan Campbell, and his ability to go for it and all that. But boy, 24-7, 27-7, whatever it was at halftime. Come on now, defense. Come on now, defense. Make a play. Make a play. Stop them. Swing the momentum back in our favor. That falls on the shoulder of Aaron Glenn as well. We praise Aaron Glenn for the job that he's done all year long. Well, damn it, he got to take some of this too. And for Dan Campbell and his never die spirit, Dan Campbell told y'all all year long exactly who he was. I mean, if you listened just a little bit, what you saw in this game, and whether you like it or not, I get it. I understand. I get it. Whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you are for it or whether you're against it, Dan Campbell has told you till he was blue in the face, this is who I am. I like my guys. I trust my guys. We are going for it. All year long, he's done it. All year long. Even people talking about the kicker. His kicker, the Detroit Lions kicker, he didn't, in the last year and a half, I think he only kicked 2 field goals that were longer than 47 yards. Like, Dan Campbell is going for it. That is who he is. That is who he told us who he was. That is who he showed us who he was. No matter what I feel like the decision should have been made in that particular situation, Dan Campbell was true to who he was. Because if Dan Campbell in that moment goes to the kicker and the kicker misses it, he now has to go back and look at those men who he's battled with all year long, with the way that he's been doing it all year long, and they would go, Coach, you didn't trust us in that moment. I mean, hell, if Reynolds catches the ball, maybe the outcome's different. If Jameer doesn't fumble the ball, maybe the outcome's different. I mean, there's a lot of other things that factored into this whole collapse of the Detroit Lions.
1 of 2 from 50 this year, 52 long.
Exactly. They ain't kicking it from 50. He had 2 shots out of this year. 2 shots all year long. That tells you that Dan Campbell, his kicker was 1 of 2 from 50 yards this year. For example, the Cowboys kicker, I think he had like 10 from 50 yards, 8, 9 from 50 yards. And was perfect leading up until the last game of the season. Dan Campbell told you who Dan Campbell was all year long. And I, Jesse Holley, am not mad at Dan Campbell. I get the frustration from the fans' perspective. But I, for one, personally appreciate Dan Campbell being true to who Dan Campbell was. If I'm going to win, I'm going to win my way. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose my way. And if you have noticed, not even, because there's always sources, there's always players who are willing to speak off the record, behind closed doors and all that. It's been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. When y'all see this, it'll be Wednesday. We haven't heard one secret, off the record, anonymous person come out and say, we didn't like the decision. Not one person. Not one person has come out, and not one person have you heard report that behind closed doors, off the record, a couple of the Detroit Lions players said that they wish that they would have kicked the field goal. Not once. We hear it all the time. Source said that a player who remains nameless or players who will remain nameless said blah, 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 blah. We hear it all the time. Doesn't matter the team, we hear it. I haven't heard one reporter come out and say, that players on either side of the ball felt some kind of way about the decision that Dan Campbell made. That tells me that he was in line with what they always believed. We're going forward. I trust my guys. I believe in my guys. And people are going to say, well, the kicker's a guy too. Well, if you know Dan Campbell and the dude of the dudes he is, yeah, he understands that he has to have a kicker. Dan don't consider the kicker the dudes. My guys. They have a job to do, but the guys are the guys who are on the battlefield doing some real damage. That I just as a player, that's just how you feel. It is. You understand the kicker are there for a reason and they have their purpose for there, but you like, you kick, right? Come on. And this is no shade to kickers. Shout out to all my kicker friends. But, come on. Come on, son. I don't think y'all even consider yourself one of the guys. You're part of the team. But, you know how it goes. But the Niners, battle-tested, continuing to fight year in, year out, down in, down out. I told you guys this weeks ago. I thought the Niners was the best team in football. Then they got whooped by the Ravens, and I said, okay, the second best team in football. But what a performance. Brock Purdy, Kittle. I don't think enough is being talked about Christian McCaffrey. What? You talk about a guy, he's a guy. Okay? He's a dude. He is a force multiplier. And we've asked the question at times, I know we've done that here in Dallas, about the culture. Can you adjust to the culture? Can you become a part of the culture? Christian McCaffrey, when he was still a dude in Carolina with the Panthers, but he's a little bit of a soft dude. Still skilled, but, hang nail, put him out for 3 weeks. This dude has come into this Niners culture and has been fully ingratiated and immersed in the toughness and just the physical toughness of who the Niners are. You see it in the way he runs. You see it in the way that he blocks his. Everything. And shout out to Brandon Ayuk, who is just an X factor all the time. Just never know when he's going to make a play. What a fantastic play. Bouncing off the defender's helmet. He stays with it and catches it for a big play. Helps swing the momentum. But the Niners, man, they just were resilient. They had a purpose. They knew where they wanted to get to. The moment was not too big for them. It got away from them in the first half, but they gathered themselves. They figured it out, and they finished the job. 34-31. Fantastic game. Great comeback. And they'll play in the Super Bowl again. What would the outcome be? Don't know. Still haven't made a decision on it yet. But that team, defense took a hit. They were getting rushed upon like it was no other. But that's Detroit. Detroit wants to get physical with you up front. Now, they won't face the same thing when it comes to Kansas City, and we'll do Super Bowl stuff later on. But the Niners, man, tough team. But the Lions, this is the Lions you have nothing to hang your head about. You have nothing to hang your head about. You got your offensive coordinator back. We'll talk more about Ben Johnson deciding to come back to the Detroit Lions as the offensive coordinator. You guys are intact. Not only are you intact, but you also have money to spend. Talk about draft picks hitting. Detroit, your first 4 draft picks last year, all were starters and all contributed in a major way. Laporta, Gibbs, Campbell, Branch. Holy moly, you talk about hitting a home run, grand slam. When your first 4 draft picks not only are starters, but contribute in the way that Laporta, Gibbs, Campbell, and Branch did, that's how you win in this league. You have a quarterback who you paid $27 million to last year in Jared Goff. Now maybe he comes with an extension this year. But Laporta will be on his rookie deal. Gibbs will be on his rookie deal. Campbell will be on his rookie deal. Branch on his rookie deal. You're walking to the offseason already with like $40-something million in cap space. If you can hit on your draft again, you'll draft 29? Yeah, 29. 29 in the draft. If you can hit on some more draft picks this year to add to this bunch, y'all cooking with hot grease now. Detroit, now your division will get better, right? Green Bay is on the rise. Don't know what Minnesota's going to be like next year. I'm already packing the Bears up. Pack them up. Yeah, I'm packing the Bears up already. I'm packing the Bears up. I'm packing Justin Fields up. Y'all, I'm good. I'm good on the Bears. But Detroit, you got something to hold your head up about, man. Be proud about your football team.